Hare Krishna. Question: why are there so many commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita? Answer: because the Bhagavad Gita is a very important book and it has been studied by many different people from different backgrounds, and quite often it is a natural human tendency to try to use whatever is authoritative for boosting one's own authority. So that's why many people in India have commented on the Bhagavad Gita because they wanted to increase the authoritativeness of their own presentation, whatever school of thought, whatever philosophy they were presenting. And in one sense, the many commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita are a tribute to the Gita's wide uh, appeal or the huge range of importance that the Gita has. That's why there have been politicians, there have been people from so many different schools of thought, so many different professions, and so many backgrounds who have commented in the Bhagavad Gita. That's because they all found something meaningful in the Gita, and they found that so if you consider that this is one circle is the Gita's message, and they had their own circle of interest, and they found something within the Gita's message which intersected with their circle of interest, and they used that to write a commentary on the Gita. So in one sense, we can see the many commentaries on the Gita as an appreciation of how broad the Gita's circle of wisdom, how broad the Gita's circle of messages, that so many people from so many different backgrounds have found some intersection between the Gita circle and their own circle of interest. So in that sense, it is good that it is a tribute to the Gita that there are so many commentaries on it. At the same time, these commentators quite often, instead of admitting that actually the circle of interest, the circle between their own interest, between the Gita's message and their own interest, that is a very small intersection. Rather than admitting that, quite often they use that intersection as a starting point to go on and just broadcast their own message. So they impose their own message on the Gita's message. That means that they highlight only that part of the Gita wherein Krishna is speaking their particular things which they want to talk about. So for example, there have been many people who have written nationalistic commentaries on the Gita. So for example, during the Indian independence struggle, there were some commentators, some prominent Indian independence fighters. They actually thought that at that time there was the Indian National Congress, which was the primary force agitating for the independence of India, or at least for greater political power for Indians within the governmental structure. So there were some Indian leaders associated with the Congress who wrote in their commentaries on the Gita that actually this is Krishna comes to time and time again to the Vinasha Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. So they said that actually now this Indian National Congress is the incarnation of Krishna, and the British government is the Rakshasa that is going to be this Kriti, which is going to be destroyed by us. So now this is irrespective of the merits or demerits of the particular political position. The important point is that there is very little in the Bhagavad Gita which directly correlates with India's political struggle. So the political struggle for independence, and superimposing that over here is wrong. There's another commentator who wrote that India's greatest mistake is that after independence is that it did not follow the Bhagavad Gita. If it had followed the Bhagavad Gita, then within 48 hours of Pakistan getting independence, India would have attacked and conquered Pakistan and regained what had been lost in partition. So that is his idea of India's following Bhagavad Gita. So my point here is that people find some small intersection. Yes, for example, there is one side which seems to be dharmic, one side seems to be adharmic, but all the other messages are left aside, and that part is what is focused on, and then everything that is talked thereafter is centered on that small intersection, and that's where the mistake comes. So what we need to do is, rather than getting carried away, now those people who have written these commentaries may be very respectable in their own fields of knowledge. Now they may be respected independence fighters, they may be respected, nowadays politicians are not really all that respected, but they may be respected political leaders, they may be respected even philosophers in their own right. But we have to see, is their personal life and their personal message consonant with the Gita's essential message? And if it is not, then we have to uh, we have to be cautious in reading their commentaries, because what will happen is, we will think that I am reading Gita's commentary, but actually what we are getting is not the Gita's, we are not entering into Gita's circle, we are entering into their circle. And that's why Prabhupada would say, if you want to write your own book, fine, write your own book. Nobody is stopping you from that. But if you are commenting on the Bhagavad Gita, then you have to tell the message of the Gita. So that is so in general, the Bhagavad Gita messages, although there are multiple levels of directions given in the Bhagavad Gita, and the multiple levels can lend to it a substantial level of complexity, at the same time the Bhagavad Gita in its conclusion is quite unambiguous. It is quite clear that Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Yes, give up all varieties of religion, surrender unto me. And that is what Arjuna also says, that Krishna, you are supreme, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So as far as sadhan and sadhya, what is the means and what is the end. In both cases, Bhagavad Gita is very clear. Arjuna, who is the original student of the Gita, he tells Krishna, you are the absolute truth. After hearing the Chatushloki from 10.8 to 11, he tells in 10.12 that Krishna, you are the absolute truth. And this is what the great sages have said, this is what you have said, and I accept it fully. So the sadhya is Krishna, very unambiguously the Gita teaches that. And sadhana, also the Gita teaches, is what it is, bhakti. Sarvadharman Pratyaji Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So in that sense, if at a broad level, if the sadhana and sadhya of a particular that a particular commentator is teaching and living in a commentary is bhakti, then that is a commentary which has a realistic possibility of being faithful to the Gita. But otherwise, the people may be intelligent, their commentaries may also be containing many intelligent things. But whether those intelligent things are honestly reflecting the message of the Gita, that is something which is seriously open to question. That's why it is best for us to study the Gita under the guidance of those who are in parampara and who have understood the sadhana and sadhya properly, who are living their sadhana and sadhya, and are also helping us understand that sadhana and sadhya in our own lives. Thank you. Hare Krishna.